Hello and welcome to another Stellarian Games video. In this episode, we're going to be looking at the third construction video of the Wizard's Tower Golem. In this episode, we're going to be looking at the actual painting and detailing work. The first two episodes were the construction episodes, one for the Golem itself and then one for the towers. So let's just jump right in and see how it's painted up. To begin the detailing work, we're going to add sand to the base of the Golem. Just using some white PVA glue and brushing it around the exposed boulders, trying not to get too much on the boulders themselves. I'm going to just add sand to this to add some texture to the ground. We're also adding sand to the top of the golem in some exposed areas just to give some texture to kind of the natural earthy look of this piece. This will help tie kind of the tower and the golem itself all together. Next, we're going to use some black paint and Mod Podge to coat the entire piece in a black undercoat. The black Mod Podge will help solidify the pink foam and make it a lot more durable. Then giving the entire piece a dry brush with kind of a chocolate brown house paint. This will just set the tone of the entire piece in kind of this earth tone. Next, we're coming back through with some raw sienna and doing the highlights on all of the exposed kind of muddy clay sections of the golem. Then we're coming through with a gray and dry brushing all of the stonework on the wizard's tower, all of the stonework on the tower itself, as well as the stones exposed on the golem body as well. All of the boulders sticking out of the body as well as the limbs with exposed boulders. That'll give all of these boulders a very nice rocky look. Later on we'll add some different texture, but overall, I think this gray look worked very well for the boulders. We're coming through with some tan, adding some highlights to the sand on the ground. Then we're switching over and doing some detail work with this green color for the windows as well as the door. Then we're using some silver metallic paint to highlight the cones on top of the roof as well as the chimney. I'm not trying to do too heavy of a coat. I wanted it to be a little bit rusty underneath, so it is a bit of a dry brush, but it's still picking out some of the highlights and letting you know that it is a metallic piece. Now we're using some brass colored paint and highlighting the railings as well as the top beads on those posts, and it really gives it a nice formal look to that patio section. Now we're coming through with kind of a linen color and highlighting individual stones all over the body to break up the monotony of the gray boulder look. Kind of did this front and back on the ground, highlighting some of the sand as well, just really using it to break up that gray tone. Now we're using a black wash to cover the entire piece, starting with the roofs and the individual pieces that I have separated still, and then going through and doing all of the buildings as well as the stone golem itself. So really every portion of this got this black wash except for the interior. Once the black wash was dry, I came back through with a very light gray, and did some highlights right on the edges of a lot of the stones to give some definition to where those stones kind of connect with each other and kind of show how the light is directed. Once all that's dry, we're coming through with some white glue, and we're going to add some green flocking. This flocking I made with some sawdust and green paint. I liked how the color scheme worked, as well as how the texture of this flocking worked with this piece. And the last step, we're going to be adding some more flocking, but this will be kind of a duller green, which will kind of mimic a mossy color. So this is the final piece. I'm really happy with how this turned out. And in comparing it to the original sketch that I had, I was very happy with how it turned out. It was a lot closer to the sketch than I would have kind of imagined to begin with. But overall, it was a very fun piece to work on. This was a great build. I'm very happy that the Crafters Guild set this out in April. It really forced a different way of thinking for me, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. All right, now that we've seen how everything is put together, I just wanted to say another thank you for the Tabletop Crafters Guild for hosting those challenges. I think those are a great community effort to bring everyone's creativity level to a higher notch and give everyone inspiration for building and continuing to challenge themselves with different and creative builds. So thank you again to the Tabletop Crafters Guild, and keep up the good work in posting those challenges. Thank you.